Tony Khan has officially taken some shots at WWE, Triple H, Vince McMahon. You guys already know. We're going to have to talk about that in this video because he said something, and it's true, guys. It's true. No matter which way you lean, you just have to acknowledge that the war between AEW and WWE just really hasn't started at all, actually. And then also we know that a WWE Superstar is very unhappy in WWE. This is just days away after his tag team partner requested his release from WWE. But we can tie all this stuff together because we also know that WWE's biggest network partner, Fox, is also reportedly very unhappy. So we're talking about all of this in today's video. My name is Ango. This is Destination PW. And if you guys want more videos like this, go ahead and click subscribe. All right, guys. Lince Dorado, WWE Cruiserweight. Somebody who's been in WWE for a little bit of time now. Hasn't necessarily been given a push. He is also the tag team partner of Gran Metalik. And, you know, guys, there's going to be more stories like this coming, but basically it was reported that Lince Dorado has been very unhappy in WWE. It's also been said that Dorado and Metalik have been going to television tapings trying to get a word with the office because they are very unhappy about their placement. And it just goes to show you, like, whether or not AEW is influencing a lot of this. Anybody who is a pure wrestler, which a lot of these guys, they do come from a wrestling background, as you can imagine, they did what they loved every single day and got paid very little for it. Then they go to WWE, they're on TV, and it sounds like it's all great, but at the end of the day, they're not happy because they're not getting used. And I get it, not everybody can get used on television, but at the same time, too, you have to question where the effort is, because I think that's the real question here. We already know that Lince Dorado is an incredible talent, just as we know Gran Metalik is. And I'm not saying they have to be world champions, but like, these guys are literally stuck in the back, not doing anything on TV. And whenever they are used, they're chasing the 24/7 championship belt, and they're doing like stupid segments that really, like, there's no future or no vision for these guys. So it's not shocking to me that Lince Dorado is also very unhappy. We still don't know if Gran Metalik has been granted his release. We don't know for a fact if Lince Dorado has requested his release, but if he has in fact, if he's in fact in this situation where he's unhappy, you know, WWE was willing so easily to give up guys like Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. It just makes me curious as to why they haven't done anything with guys like Gran Metalik or Lince Dorado. I just have a hard time understanding that. And, you know, this is not really shocking because WWE is on some really interesting terms with Fox. They're in the middle of a $5 billion deal, and Fox has actually been reportedly very unhappy with WWE lately. A report came out from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, and basically what came out today was that Fox has been unhappy with WWE for the last couple months, and this is largely due to, you know, the ratings and the overall product. You know, Fox had a lot of expectations by working with WWE. They signed WWE to this massive deal. And yes, they did have the pandemic, and the pandemic definitely affected things. But it makes sense. Like, Fox is not happy with WWE. We're seeing the rise of AEW. We know from a fan base interest right now, at least on the internet, you know, we can see a very, very huge increase in interest with AEW. And I'm not using this as an opportunity to talk poorly about WWE, but if your wrestlers are unhappy, if your wrestlers want to go to AEW and you're willing to let them do that, and then on top of that, you have a network partner that's unhappy, which, by the way, WWE makes most of its money because of these TV deals, at what point do you try? And I think that's the fair thing to say here. Like, there definitely seems to be a lack of interest and a lack of effort. And I hate saying that, but ultimately, that's what it feels like. And when we talk about Tony Khan in just a moment, just understand that, like, a lot of times I see it in the comments, hey, like, you're a fanboy of AEW. It's like, no, I just appreciate when the product is good. I've been very, very critical of AEW in the past. I've also been very critical of WWE, and I praise WWE when they do things right. Like, to me, SmackDown's a good show. NXT is a good show. I don't really care for Raw. But ultimately, Fox is unhappy. Your wrestlers are unhappy. Oh, and look, there's a new company that's taking everything right now. They're taking a lot of fan interest. They're selling out. Now they sold out a stadium event. At the end of the day, where does WWE decide, okay, we know we have to change and we have to make a huge shift towards a better product? And that's what I'm trying to understand, because before we could even talk about Tony Khan, the one thing that you guys need to know is that the wrestling war hasn't even started. Eric Bischoff has come out and basically said, like, the best version of Vince McMahon is the one that is super competitive, one where he actually has to win. And we're still not at that stage where WWE is actually threatened by AEW, which is shocking to me, because at this rate, AEW is doing massive things. Just doesn't make sense. And now I think it's really important that we talk about Tony Khan. So guys, Tony Khan tweeted something out today, obviously in preparation to promote Rampage. And this tweet is actually getting a little bit of criticism too, but Tony Khan basically tweeted, "Less than 2 years ago, our competitors said that this is a marathon, not a sprint. They were right. They've also had a head start of 40 plus years, and in less than 2 years, we've made up more ground from scratch than anyone in wrestling history. Let's effing go tonight. Let's make AEW Rampage the #1 on cable tonight." Guys, this all ties in together. Fox is unhappy. The wrestlers are unhappy. The wrestlers are signing to AEW. AEW is improving their ratings. AEW is selling out shows. They're selling merchandise. They're actually dominating in certain markets where WWE is not. It is very clear that AEW in less than 2 years has become one of the most successful projects of all time. I actually think it's even more successful than like other sports and other avenues that we necessarily don't look at. But when it comes to this form of entertainment, pro wrestling, it is not as big as it used to be in the Attitude Era. And I felt bad because I tweeted and I talked about it in a video. I predicted over 2 million viewers for Grand Slam, and it didn't do that. It did 1.2 million. My immediate reaction was that like was kind of bad. But then the more I thought about it, I had to remind myself exactly what Tony Khan is saying here. You know, the real question here is, when will competition with WWE get bigger and better? Because I do agree with Eric Bischoff. WWE is really, really good when they have to compete. The problem is they haven't had to compete really all too much in like 20 years. And I know Tony Khan more than likely is not moving Dynamite or Rampage to Mondays or anything like that. But ultimately, at the same time, too, it's like, what is it going to take for WWE to improve their product? Is it literally going to be Tony Khan going on Mondays? Because that's a conversation that a lot of people don't like having because they're scared for AEW. But I actually have a lot of confidence that right now Dynamite is going to be potentially beating WWE Raw. And look, NBC has WWE Raw. Fox has SmackDown. Fox is not happy about SmackDown promoting Peacock. Like, at some point, you're going to start seeing some really weird things happen in the long term if they can't get this figured out. And that's a real problem. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Success for AEW is massive. Tony Khan taking a shot at WWE. Some people don't like it, but in this case, I do love it. He has to remind everybody that a lot of people were trying to forget that AEW was even around or even becoming a thing, but you can't be forgotten. There's no silence here. Everybody knows that AEW is a very good company at this point, and to be honest, what they're going to accomplish in the next few years could be very, very scary for WWE if Vince McMahon and WWE don't pick things up. That is, of course, unless they sell the company, which hopefully not. My name is Ango. This is Destination Pro Wrestling. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.